Hello and good morning, students. So, up to our last class, we have discussed about how we can prevent fire. For example, we have discussed a bit about water as a fire extinguisher, how we can use water to extinguish fire. So, there are some other methods also. We'll discuss all today. We'll finish this fire portion today, okay? Mm, Let me go to the page. This firefighting. Last day we discussed firefighting and mainly we are focused on water as fire extinguisher. We know that in most of the cases, whenever in any place fire catches, we call 101, the government fire extinguishing, there is fire brigade number, and they come and they what they do, they throw water on the um, fire. Why they throw water? There are two reasons. First, they will decrease the ignition temperature, and next is the water will get evaporated and it will get seat on the materials, on the combustible materials present on the room or the place where fire is there, and it will prevent entry of water. That means there are two reasons for using water. The first is water will decrease the combustion temperature, and the next is water will not allow the entry of air. Okay, it will block the entry of air. So up to this much we have finished. Today we'll discuss about there are some disadvantages or limitations of using water. We cannot use water every time. For example, water cannot be used to extinguish fires in electric wires caused by an electric short circuit. For example, there is a shop, okay, and in this shop, um, the fire is due to electrical short circuit. You know electrical short circuit, right? And on electrical wires we cannot throw fire because water is a conductor of water. Okay, is it clear? On electricity, on electric wires we cannot throw water. Okay, water is a conductor of electricity. When it is poured over burning electric wire or appliances, it causes electric shocks to the people involved in the firefighting operations. So what will happen? Let me try to draw it, explain a diagram. For example, these are the wires where, okay, these are the wires where fire is there. Okay, there is fire in this wire, and one person standing over here, okay, he is throwing water to this place. If he is throwing water to the fire wire, electric wire, then from electric wire current will pass to him, and ultimately he will feel shock. Okay, he will feel electric shock. So we cannot use water on electric wires because electricity can pass through the water. Okay, and it can cause harm, even death, to the person involved in the firefighting operation, and this shock can even kill people. Okay, next reason is water cannot be used to extinguish fire caused by burning of oil or petrol because water being heavier than oil settle down in the bottom. Oil floats over this water and continues to burn. The second reason they are giving is we cannot, if the fire is due to oil, sorry, for example petrol, diesel or something. For example, if there is a fire in a fire refilling station, okay, petrol pump, then we should not use water as the primary source. We should use some other technique for preventing fire. Why? Because water is heavier than petrol, diesel, kerosene, these things. If we spray water on the fire caused due to petrol and diesel, water will settle down. Okay, water will settle down and petrol, diesel will be on the upper layer, so we cannot prevent fire properly. Okay, so you need some other techniques. So first, very common is water. You all know there are availability of water. So first technique is water. Now we know there are some limitations of water. In electric wires you cannot use water. Okay, next, in case of petrol, diesel, you cannot use water. So there we should need some other technique, right? I guess it is clear to you. We need some other techniques. So the next technique is carbon dioxide as a fire extinguisher. Now we will use this type of CO2 cylinder as fire extinguisher. I hope you all have seen this type of carbon dioxide cylinders, right? Carbon dioxide is the best fire extinguisher for fires involving electric equipments and inflammable materials like petrol and kerosene. So if I was telling that what happens in this situation if the fire is due to a short circuit, that is electric wire involvement, or is due to petrol, kerosene, diesel, these things, then what you can do, we can use CO2 fire extinguisher as the best option instead of water. We get the supply of carbon dioxide to extinguish fire from fire extinguisher. So from where we get carbon dioxide? From the fire extinguishers, okay, where carbon dioxide is stored under high pressure. So carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, we all know these are gas. So we know how gas is stored in cylinder, in high pressure, okay, under high pressure. For example, in our home LPG cylinders also, the gas is stored under high pressure. Similarly, in this fire extinguisher also, the gas is stored in fire extinguisher in high pressure. Once the pressure is released, or once the gas is released, it expands in volume, right? If you compress some gas, it will become liquid or it will become compact. But once you release, the gas will expand in size, okay. So once it is released, the gas will expand in volume and cools down, okay. It cut off the contact between the burning. So what it will do, it will stop the burning process once you will release carbon dioxide in the fire spot, okay. So what it will do, carbon dioxide will prevent the supply of oxygen, and we know if there is no oxygen there will be no fire. Next is, it will also decrease the ignition temperature. So it will work in the same way as water, but it will not have the disadvantages of water, because water is a good conductor of electricity. So we cannot use water on electric wires, and water is heavier than petrol, diesel, so it will not prevent fire due to petrol and diesel. So we need to use carbon dioxide extinguishers as a good method to prevent fire due to these reasons. Hence, fire gas extinguish in most cases it does not harm the electric equipment. We often see such fire extinguishers in our schools, offices, godowns, and hospitals. So, in most of the cases, in probably in big malls or in big houses, in office, bank, you will see this type of fire extinguishers are there, right, to prevent fire due to electricity and petrol, diesel. Sand may also be poured over some burning materials to extinguish fire. It cuts off the supply of oxygen and burning material. Okay, you have seen this also. For example, in railway station, in some other places, people store sand in some buckets, right? So why they store sand? Because this sand, if you apply this sand on fire, this will prevent the supply of air to the. Then if there is no air, there will be no burning. So this is the reason why sand is also used. Foam type fire extinguisher. So we have done with carbon dioxide type fire extinguisher, then water as fire extinguisher. Now we are dealing with foam type fire extinguisher. So what is the specialty of this? The foam type fire extinguisher consists of a metallic cylinder having a knob and a nozzle tube. Okay, the metallic cylinder is filled with a saturated solution of sodium bicarbonate. A glass bottle containing aluminum sulfate is kept inside the metallic cylinder. When we strike the knob of the extinguisher against a hard surface, the glass bottle breaks and aluminum sulfate comes in contact with the sodium bicarbonate and react with it to produce carbon dioxide. Okay, so it is a good concept. So what is foam type fire extinguisher? They are telling this, there is technique. In this technique we have a metallic, first we have a metallic tank. Okay, you can see this is a tank, metallic tank. Okay, in this tank or cylinder, okay, in this cylinder one chemical is filled, that is sodium bicarbonate plus saponin. In this tank one chemical is filled, there is sodium bicarbonate plus saponin in high amount, and there will be a glass bottle on top of this tank which will contain aluminum sulfate. That means I'm writing here. One is sodium bicarbonate plus what are you adding? Aluminum sulfate. When there is a fire, what will do? This knob, this metallic knob will mm, open it. Okay, after opening it, it will press this glass bottle, and this glass bottle will break. Once the glass bottle will break, all the aluminum sulfate present in this bottle will mix with the sodium carbonate, and these two are chemicals. These two will react with each other, and they will produce carbon dioxide. And now we know from the last case, carbon dioxide is a good fire extinguisher. It can be used against electric short circuits or petrol diesel fires. Okay, so this is the way in which foam type fire extinguisher works. A substance called saponin is added to the sodium bicarbonate solution to produce the foam of carbon dioxide. So saponin is another substance, as I told just now, is used to prepare the foam of carbon dioxide, and then the foam is sprayed. Okay, a substance called saponin is added to the, okay, then the foam of carbon dioxide comes out through the nozzle. Okay, there will be nozzle pipe, so the pipe it will come out and it will direct towards the fire. Similar to the fire extinguisher, they throw water. Here we are throwing foam. Okay, this fire extinguisher can be safely be used to extinguish fire caused by electric appliances or inflammable substances like petrol, kerosene. As I told, carbon dioxide is there, so you can use against petrol, diesel fires or electric short circuits. Moving to the last point, taking care of fire victims. So if there is any fire, you not only save the house or the place, you will also save the persons or the livestock present over here. Like if in a home there is a fire, you will first will save the human presence over there, then the animals such as cow, dog, okay, these present domestic animals or whatever animals is the birds, whatever is there, you will try to save all lives, then you will save the goods, right? So one is we should immediately bring out the fire victims from the fireplace to an open space to prevent the fire victims from breathing harmful gases like carbon dioxide or smoke that may lead to suffocation and breath illness. So in fire case, before the fire catches the people dies. Why? Because whenever there is a fire, there is excess of smoke and carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide is there, right? So whenever people breathe this smoke, they have some breathing issue, and due to some blockage of this breathing process, they die before the body gets burned. Okay, so what you should do whenever there is any fire, if any such incident happens by any chance, then we should first remove all the people from that house. Okay, we should take out all the people from the house to a safe place. Next is when the cloth of the person catches fire, the person should be covered with a blanket to cut off the supply of air. So if the dress or the clothes of the person who is was in the home when the fire catches, okay, if the fire catches the person's dress, what we should do, we should cover the person with a blanket so that no air can pass and ultimately fire gets stopped. See, this person is covering a dress of this victim with a blanket so that there is no supply of air. Okay, as a result, the fire gets extinguished, and so on. The fire gets extinguished. Third, we should pour water over the victim body. The body will cool down below its ignition temperature, and as a result, the fire gets extinguished. Water also prevent formation of blisters on the skin, okay, of the fire victim. So what they're telling, the first thing is we should also throw some water, pour some water in the body of the fire victim so that the fire gets stops. Why it will stop? Because the ignition temperature will go down. Next, if fire catches the body of a person, it will lead to the formation of blisters in the skin. So if you give water, there will be no blisters in the skin. Okay, we should immediately call an ambulance from the nearby hospital and send the fire victim to the hospital for further medical treatment. So whatever you have done so far, for example, removing the person from the home. The next is mm, extinguishing the fire from their body by using blanket or by pouring water. This is just preliminary steps, right? Now we need to cut off all these steps, and directly we have to send the patient or the victim to the hospital. So we have to call an ambulance and we have to send the patient to a nearby hospital. Then only our task is over. So this is for today, students. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.